quiet, in a small community swimming pool in Florida, a mystery unfolded every single night, right on schedule. At exactly 9 p.m., a phone would start ringing inside the men's locker room B to be exact. It was a persistent, lonely sound that echoed off the tiled walls and empty benches. But here's the strange part. No one ever answered it. The phone belonged to Coach Ryan Miller, a quiet man in his early 40s. He was a familiar face at the pool, having worked there for years. The kids on the swim team knew him as kind but reserved. He was the type of guy who stayed late to tidy up, long after everyone else had gone home, and then slipped away before anyone really noticed him leave. He was just Coach Ryan, a steady, quiet presence. One evening, 16-year-old Ava Thompson, one of the top competitive swimmers on the team, was finishing up her late-night practice. As she packed her bag in the otherwise deserted women's locker room, she heard it ring, ring. The sound carried clearly across the hall. It was that phone again. Ava frowned. This wasn't the first time she'd heard it. In fact, she'd heard that same ringing every night for the past week. Always at 9 p.m. Who keeps calling at the exact same time every single night? And why does no one ever pick up? Curiosity, or maybe just a bit of annoyance at the incessant sound, got the better of her. She walked out of her locker room and cautiously pushed open the door to locker room B. The ringing was louder now. She spotted the phone on a bench, its screen lighting up with each ring. After a moment's hesitation, she reached out and picked it up, swiping to answer. "Hello," she said, her voice a little shaky in the echoing space. For a second, there was only silence on the other end. She was about to hang up, thinking it was a wrong number or a prank call, when a soft voice finally spoke. "Ryan." The voice asked, "Is that you?" Ava froze. The voice was gentle, maybe a little older. It definitely wasn't for her. "I'm sorry," she stammered. "This is Ava. I'm a swimmer here, I think." "I think you have the wrong number." There was another pause on the line, longer this time. "Oh," the voice replied, just as softly as before. There was no frustration, no anger, just a quiet resignation. "I was just calling to remind my husband to eat his dinner. He forgets sometimes." A lump formed in Ava's throat. She looked at the phone in her hand, then around the empty locker room. Coach Ryan was already gone for the night. I think his phone is still here at work," she said, choosing her words carefully. The woman on the other end sighed, a faint, wispy sound. "That makes sense," she said. "He always leaves it behind." The call ended shortly after, but the conversation stuck with Ava. The woman's voice was so full of care, so routine in its concern. It wasn't the call of a stranger. It was the call of someone who knew and loved Ryan deeply. The next day at the pool, Ava couldn't shake the feeling that she had stumbled into something deeply personal. She saw Coach Ryan by the side of the pool, timing laps with his usual quiet focus. He seemed so contained, so solitary. She waited until practice was over and most of the other swimmers had left. Taking a deep breath, she walked over to him. "Coach," she said softly, not wanting to startle him. He turned, a hint of surprise in his eyes. He wasn't used to his swimmers seeking him out after hours. "Your phone," she began. "It keeps ringing at night." At 9 o'clock, Coach Ryan's expression shifted. The initial surprise faded, replaced by something else. Something deeply sad. He looked away for a moment, out at the still water of the pool, as if gathering his thoughts. When he finally spoke, his voice was low, almost a whisper. "My wife," he said. He paused, and Ava held her breath, suddenly feeling like an intruder. "She passed away last year," he continued. "Her phone, it's still programmed with an automatic reminder to call mine every night at 9. A reminder for me to eat dinner." He let out a small, humorless laugh. I never changed it." Ava's heart ached for him. Suddenly, it all made sense. The nightly calls, the phone left behind, his quiet, reserved nature. He wasn't just a coach. He was a man carrying a profound and private grief. She didn't know what to say. Words felt clumsy and inadequate. So she just stood there with him in the quiet, humid air of the natatorium, sharing a moment of silence that felt more meaningful than any words could have been. That evening, Ava made a decision. Instead of packing up and leaving right after practice, she found excuses to stay. She did a few extra stretches. She reorganized her locker. She waited. The pool area slowly emptied out until it was just her and Coach Ryan, who was doing his usual end-of-day cleaning. As the clock on the wall crept towards 9 p.m., a quiet tension filled the air. Ava watched him from a distance. Then, right on cue, the familiar ringing started from locker room B ring. Ring. This time, however, things were different. Ava walked into the locker room, picked up the buzzing phone, and walked back out to where Coach Ryan was standing, holding it out to him. He looked at the phone, then at her. For the first time, he didn't let it ring out. He took the phone from her hand. His fingers trembled slightly as he answered. "Hey," he whispered into the receiver. Of course, no one spoke on the other end. The line was silent. It was just an automated alarm, a digital ghost. But as Coach Ryan stood there, holding the phone to his ear, a slow smile spread across his face. It wasn't a happy smile, not exactly. It was something deeper, something more complex. It was the kind of smile that comes from remembering love, not just mourning its loss. It was a smile of connection, of a promise kept, of a love that time couldn't erase. He stood there for a long moment, just listening to the silence, before finally hanging up. He gave Ava a small, grateful nod, and for the first time, she felt like she truly saw her coach. A week later, a short video quietly appeared online. It was filmed discreetly, likely by another staff member who had witnessed the nightly ritual. The video showed a swim coach standing alone in an empty locker room, his back to the camera. A phone was pressed to his ear, and you could see his shoulders shake slightly as tears streamed down his face. The caption was simple, yet powerful. It read, "Sometimes love doesn't stop calling." The video went viral. It was one of those rare internet moments that cut through the noise and touched something universal. It spread across every platform, shared by millions of people around the world. Strangers were moved to tears by the story of a grieving husband and his nightly call from the past. The comment sections were flooded with messages of love, support, and people sharing their own stories of loss and remembrance. Coach Ryan became an unintentional symbol of enduring love, but the most important change didn't happen online. It happened quietly, back at that small community pool in Florida. The internet fame was fleeting, but the ritual remained. Every night after that, Coach Ryan answered the phone at 9 p.m. He no longer left it behind. He would stop what he was doing, pick it up, and whisper, "Hey," not because he expected someone to answer, but because, for him, love still was. It was in the echo of a ring, in the silence on the line, and in the quiet promise to always, always pick up the call. Thank you so much for watching. This story is a beautiful reminder that the connections we make can last a lifetime and beyond. If you were touched by this story, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that warms the heart. We'll see you in the next one.